carrying the nearly 25 kilo is not easy, even for a short distance. I stopped every 50 meters to rest. Yulya hurried and encouraged me, but it was just making things worse. I don't know if I deserved a medal in some strange sack of Catgill Supply's short distance carrying event, but about an hour later the sack was transported to the bus stop. I collapsed beside it, exhausted. Oh, that's it. You're such a hero! See, nothing to be afraid of. My whole body ached, my muscles burned, and rivers of sweat flowed from my forehead, stinging my eyes. I don't know what reward I was owed for, but this competition was more like the Olympics for mentally challenged people. Though I won, I'm still a retard. Look, the bus is coming. What? I jumped up, my fatigue vanished in an instant. Something could indeed be seen in the distance. I narrowed my eyes and saw the Icarus. But why? Yulya told me that it would arrive closer to the night. Moreover, I had expected the Elias bus. Soon the bus stopped in front of us and the door opened, inviting us in. The driver's seat was empty, but I was not really surprised. Much stranger things had happened here. Well, that's fucking scary, dude. Coming? Yulya easily jumped onto the first step and gestured to me for me to follow her. Don't you think it's weird that buses go by themselves? Well, she thought about that. Of course it is strange, but you said yourself that there are plenty of strange things here. Yes, she was right on that one. Anyway, I had no choice. In either case, whether I stay or whether I go on the bus, I am not sure about what will come next. But in case of second choice, I had at least an illusory hope of escaping from this camp. I sighed, and with one last effort, I lifted the sack and got onto the bus. We drove for about an hour. Yulya was constantly chattering about something, but I wasn't listening. I carefully studied the passing landscapes through the window. Forest, fields, river, forest, fields, absolutely nothing suspicious. On the one hand, this gave me some hope, but on the other, it was a sign that in the end nothing will change. Because in this world, it seems everything is slowly and measured, following its well-established rules. That's how it was at least a few days ago. Although maybe I shouldn't be drawing conclusions after having been there only a week. Well, now I'm sure everything will be fine. I looked at her carefully. Cat ears, a long tail that moved rhythmically back and forth, slightly enlarged fangs. Yulya seemed like a character from a fairy tale. We can decide what to do with her in the real world later. I was turning into one big throbbing vein, ready to burst any moment. I was waiting for how this will end. The result could be anything for me. It was important not to go crazy ahead of time. My nerves were stretched to the limit and I tried to not think about anything. But it was impossible to distract myself. Hey, are you even listening? No, sorry, I was deep in thought. Well, as always, she pouted. Now is such a big moment, you know. We can get out of this camp, so it's a very important moment for me. Well, it's important for me too, but I'm not worried. You simply can't see this in context. What do you mean? Before I lived in a different world, the real one, as it seemed. So I have something to compare this camp to. And you, we can say, we're born here. No, I wasn't. How do you know? I just know. I know that. The bus peacefully bounced over the bumps, shaking me more and more. The steering wheel was turning on its own, and I soon stopped noticing the absence of a driver. My eyes began to close, and I dozed off. Some girl bent over me. She was gently whispering something in my ear, so tenderly that I felt a strong blow on the head. Hey, don't sleep! Am I disturbing you? I asked in annoyance, rubbing the bruised place. You're not listening to me. If we escape from here, we'll have lots of time for conversation. If we don't escape, then we will have even more time. I tried to smile, but thinking that we wouldn't ever leave this camp frightened me a lot. So I just gave a stupid grin. It's better if we don't escape, because in your world, I don't know what to expect there, but you won't pay any attention to me at all. I will, I promise. I hugged her sincerely. Really, truly? Really, truly. Yulya leaned against me. And you listen to me? Of course. And you always agree with me? Sure. She pulled away and looked into my eyes. Well, then, I forgive you. A loud laugh filled the bus cabin. But be careful, don't you forget about it, or try to deceive me. Want to sign a contract? A marriage contract? I don't have the property for that anyway. But I do. Yulya pointed at the bag lying in the aisle. What the fuck? Well then, I tried to remember what I thought I would bought with my money. Here. I took my mobile phone out of my pocket. But this time it was already out of charge. What's that? Yulya asked curiously, taking the mobile. A very useful thing in my world. You can communicate with people at a distance. Wow, that's really cool. Excellent, that will do. She put the mobile on the seat. Deal then. My supplies for the winter are from me and from you is that thing. Okay, deal. Alright, now we are husband and wife. She smiled slyly. Hey, wait. I suddenly remembered that all this conversation had started with a marriage contract. Anyway, without an official registration. When we get to your world, we will register our marriage. A man without a wife is like a kitchen without a knife. Oder eine Lena ohne Messer. If we get there, of course. Yulya said nothing, but just stared straight forward with her eyes wide open. What the fuck? What the fuck? I followed her gaze and realized that the bus was full of people. All of them were wearing pioneer uniforms and they all looked exactly like Pioneer. Nobody said a single word, they just looked silently in my direction. I could not see their faces, clothes, statues, yes, but their faces were shrouded in shadows that seemed to appear from nowhere. It was as if instead of the heads of the normal people, if they had mini black holes. I started to shiver and go back, and my back broke out in goosebumps. Yulya squeezed my hand. With an enormous effort, I forced myself to look at her. She was very scared too. If I was alone at that moment, I would have probably fainted. But right now, I was responsible for more than only my own life. Who are you? I gritted out of difficulty. The pioneers maintained a terrifying silence. It became hard to breathe. I was gasping for breath, but my brain refused to work on low oxygen, and I lost consciousness for a moment. Who are you? What do you want? I heard Yulya shout just as I regained my senses. A pioneer stood up from the first seat and walked towards us. Hi, Semyon. We have decided to go back home too. Two. A chorus of voices filled the bus. We'll keep you company. I didn't know what to say. This was the strangest situation I had yet experienced in the camp. Neither Yulya, nor the city, nor the disappearance of pioneers, nor the strange person standing before me were comparable with this. I ask you a question. Seems like Yulya was still able to speak clearly. Not a surprise, in the end she was still, you could say, an extraordinary being. I repeat, we are just going home. His voice sounded frantic. Are we bothering you? Bothering. What do you want from us? Nothing at all. Nothing. I don't believe you. I know there's a reason for you to be doing all this. It's just your imagination, animal. Maybe I am an animal. But what are you? A ghost? A shadow? Maybe. Ghosts have the right too. You have the right to get the hell out of here! Yulya shouted so loud that my ears rang, but neither the pioneer nor his companions reacted. I guess we'll stay, he said maliciously. But how did you manage this, and all the others? At last I gathered the strength to speak. It's simple, my dear friend. Collective mind heard about it. And so, every one of us wanted to wish you luck simultaneously, that's all. Luck. Luck. In person, I would say that's the reason we are here. But what will happen next? Honestly, I have no idea. Get out! Yulya shouted again. Be cool, you. Settle down. You see? He trusts me again. I don't want to hide anything from you. You have a good chance to get out of here now. I don't exactly know why, but your actions broke the cycle. Cycles, to be precise. All your cycles. All our cycles. And there's a chance that we won't have to leave the camp every 7 days and return back to 8th, waking up in the bus. Then don't return. Just die. It's not that simple. And why shouldn't we have a sense of self-preservation? We should, right? Yes, the pioneers. Should. I heard a response. So we decided to keep you company. Now either we will all get out of here, or we'll vanish forever together, or start another cycle. All 3 options suit us. And what if we die because of you? Well, you won't die alone. We'll die with honor. Honor. Or do you think that our lives... He laughed. Well, that we call lives. Lives. Are they not as important as yours? Yulya didn't know how to answer. And don't think that all of us are here. In fact, many more of us didn't fit in. But there were enough tickets for everyone. You, Yulya hissed. It's too late. I suggest you calm down and enjoy the flight. Stewardesses will offer you food and drinks in a couple of minutes. He grinned and went back to his place. Yulya jumped up, but I stopped her. Let me go, I'll take him down. No need. What can you do to him? What good will it do? She looked at me in surprise, but sat down. So what are you... So what? Are you suggesting we don't do anything and just wait? What can we do? I don't know, but we shouldn't be just sitting. I have learned one thing for sure in this camp. Very little is up to me, actually nothing at all, especially now. Especially here. I have not the slightest idea what to do to drive them out of here. But even if I knew, I'm sure that nothing will change, nothing will affect the final outcome. You may be right, Yulya said in her sad voice. We can only wait then. It won't take long. She put her head on my shoulder. We had been going for such a long time, it seemed like an eternity. The sun had set and night fell. Seconds lasted for hours, minutes for years. The pioneers remained dead silent, and even that one, the arrogant one, didn't try to start a conversation. The silence was louder than any shouts. A quiet clap would be enough to make my eardrums explode. Me and Yulya stayed silent too. Everything had been said today. There were no words left. I felt totally empty. My head was as heavy as lead, and it seemed that I was already dead. But God and the devil had just forgotten about me, so I would have to spend the rest of eternity alone with this silent mass of pioneers. Are they really my colleagues in misfortune? Did I really come to this camp too, spend a week here and then leave? And then do it all over again? Maybe it will be the same for me, as that pioneer said. Anything is possible. Anything is possible now. I heard a quiet snoring from Yulya. She had fallen asleep. All that stress must have been too much for her. Or maybe she's used up all her energy shouting. In any case, it's better to face the end while sleeping. Now I was absolutely certain that this was the end. It's stupid to cling to hope while standing on the edge of the cliff surrounded by countless enemies. And even if there was the smallest chance of rescue, you wouldn't really think about it. Maybe it shouldn't be this way and someone else would have more optimism in my place. I just had to take the last step. Why though? There are not stairs. Oh, these are not stairs, but an escalator. It will get me to the finish in any case. I closed my eyes and consciousness left me at once. I fell asleep. I don't know whether I would last for an hour or for an eternity. Emptiness is not the best place for thoughts. When there's nothing, the essence of the normal world disappears. In the end, the thoughts are a part of it too, just an immaterial one. It is difficult to imagine where existence ends. A person is not supposed to figure it out. Was ist diese? Emptiness is not the best place for thoughts. Moment. I regained consciousness in complete darkness. To be precise, I regained the ability to perceive myself as a person. There was nothing else, neither around nor inside me. It was like I ceased to exist, was erased from the universe, but I wasn't dead. It was totally different, as if I had moved from three-dimensional space to one-dimensional, the whole world compressed to the size of one dot. That dot was me, was everything, I was everything, and at the same time was nothing. However, my consciousness, my memories, my soul went into that tiny patch too. I wasn't afraid, maybe because there was no need, or maybe because I still couldn't understand what was happening. All sense of time was lost here. There was simply no such term here. That's why it was possible to tell how long I had been in that emptiness. Finally, after an hour or a year, I started to hear a quiet voice. I couldn't make out the words, but I was the one it spoke to. Actually, there was no one else. Semyon? Semyon? Yes? I replied as if answering a phone. Nice to meet you. The voice sounded very close. We've known each other for a long time though. Who are you? I'm you. Did I die? No, nothing like that. The voice sounded calm, as if speaking to an old friend. What's happening to me? You have reached the end of your path. What path? You have managed to leave the camp. Camp? Yes, I remember. The Soviet pioneer camp. Suddenly I remember the last 7 days. I remembered how I was leaving there, together with Yulya. Where is Yulya? Yes. She's right here. I looked around, but there was only emptiness around. I don't see her. You shouldn't see, you should feel. I wasn't tense at all, as if I was recovering from anesthesia. I don't feel anything. You just have to remember. After these words, thousands of pictures, images, smells, thoughts reappeared in my mind. The camp, I was there for real. With Slavia, with Lena, with Alyssa, with Uljana, with Mascha, and then... Warte mal, Mascha? Das ist jetzt aber ein Fehler. Weil sie heißt ja nicht Mascha, sie heißt ja Miku. Okay. And then, but how? I clearly remember that I left it and came back to the real world. And then I met Slavia at the bus stop. No, I met Uljana at the university. No, I met Alyssa at that concert. But I had lived with Lena for so many years. Now I had completely different life with Masha. Ah, okay. Also doch Masha. How is all that even possible? I remember the events of almost 5 lifespans in the smallest of details. But everything happened simultaneously, and I'm sure that it will be all real. How? Yes, all of it really happened to you. But how? You left the camp, not just once, then you lived your normal life, then you came back and left again. So, was it like I died and was revived? No, you can't think that it all happened simultaneously. I don't understand. You don't need to. And who were those other pioneers? They are you too. The other sides of you. I don't understand. Every person is an endless universe. His own actions determine how his life will proceed. You remember those 5 times because those were the times you took choices that lead you out of the camp. Your other replicas acted differently, somewhere. That's it. It's all that simple. For me it wasn't that simple. And what is this camp? You can consider it a testing ground. And who are you? I'm you, but from long time after. Not time as you see it. I'm beyond and all above you. You can consider me the prime Samuel. So you are the reason for all this? That's not exactly true. Everything did not happen according to my will, but I can control these events. But why? Are you against it? I lost myself in thought, at least as lost as possible, in such an obscure state as mine. I don't know. If you were given an option now, when you know and remember everything, would you really decide to take it back to the start and just forget everything? I don't know. I wasn't ready to answer such a difficult question. Anyway, where's Yulya? She's right here. Where? Inside of you. How's that? Yulya is your inner world, your consciousness, which has gained a form. I couldn't comprehend his words. You don't need to try to understand, I already said. But I felt that I missed her. Don't be afraid, she will always be with you. I don't think I wanted this exact union just yesterday. The hardest thing is to make inner peace, not peace with an enemy, and you have done it. If you want to love her, you have to learn how to love yourself. Ja gut, das mache ich einmal am Tag. Also. Well, that's enough for you. It is time for me to leave. Wait, what will happen to me? You'll go back. I already didn't understand what was real and what was not, or how many realities there are. Where to? It depends only on you. I don't understand. You have remembered all possible variations of your events now. He paused for a long time, and I didn't dare to say anything, just so I wouldn't accidentally interrupt him. So you have at least 5 options. Will I remember all this? That's up to you to decide. A trace of emotion appeared in his voice for a moment, maybe joy or maybe dissatisfaction. Farewell. But I could feel that the voice will never speak to me again. Time passed. I tried to decide what to do next. If everything is as he said, then I just have to wish. By that time I had completely calmed down, and you could even say cheered up a bit. I was totally sure that I had got out of that enchanted camp. Moreover, a bright future awaited me. I didn't know it. I remembered it. But what should I choose? I closed my eyes and clearly imagined Slavia smiling at me. She was always willing to help me and never scolded me for anything. It is always calm and safe being with her. And that meeting at the bus stop, I guess I never thought about being with her in real life. But that would be amazing, I'm sure. Throughout so many years, Lena had grown truly precious to me. I actually remember all the time I spent with her. I remember our kids, remember times of joy and sorrow, remember everything. It is hard to reject all that. Or Alyssa, dearly hugging her guitar. It's never boring with her. Maybe that's the life I always dreamed of, simply laid back and fun. Maybe that's the girl I ever wished for. Or a loyal tomboy. Oh boy, what is life? Alyssa's image in my thoughts smiled slyly. Hello, a loyal tomboy. Das ist gut. The grown-up Ulyana seemed like a good option too. Of course, back in the camp I didn't treat her as a woman, but now, obviously she's got her cons, but at the same time there was a sense of magic in her, something attractive. And of course Miku, Masha from that other life. She was truly precious to me. Maybe back there that the camp is just a small episode and I might be a completely different person from myself in all the other paths. But that's for the best. New opportunities, possibilities, and that person I love, a person who I seemingly knew my entire life. But it's still sad. But it is still sad that I never see Yulya again. You certainly will. A voice sounded in my head. What? Where are you? I'm right here, like I said. Like he said. You knew? No, I understood it only when he came here. Are you okay with it? Won't you miss me? Of course not. I will always be with you. Do you remember your promise? What promise? That you will always be with me. Yes. Don't ever think to break it. I'll be watching you. I don't know if I will ever speak to her like that again. Maybe one could simply go nuts from that. But right now I was happy. Alright, I won't forget. Then you just have to make a choice. I felt Yulya disappear, vanishing in the labyrinth of my mind. Well, it's time. I closed my eyes tight and... My eyes were struck by the bright sunlight. Nothing surprising about that. It is summer after all. It's that strange dream again. Why did I start seeing it so often recently? Maybe there's a reason. Still, why? A pioneer camp? Some girls? The camp leader? I had never been to the camp. Maybe you just don't remember. Very funny. But what if? Trust me, I clearly remember everything that has happened to me since I was 3 years old. And before that I was probably at an unconscious age. Even if that is true, all of this is not accidental. Why is it not accidental? There are people who see a black cat in their dreams every night and nothing happens. Did you just make it up? I haven't made up anything, I read about it recently. A black cat is one thing, such a detailed dream is something else. I don't see much difference. Okay, then what will you say about it, voice? What voice? Don't play the fool. Wasn't planning to. Which told you to make a choice? Well, a voice, so what? There was a reason. But I don't remember anything else, the dream ends there. Maybe you forget it when you wake up. Maybe, but what? It means that you actually made a choice. I don't remember the options. Were there any? There should have been. You don't even try to be serious about the important things as always. Oh my god, it's so important. There's no point in talking to you. Recently I started to notice that I have something like a split personality. An inner monologue is certainly a normal phenomenon for any person, but when it turns into a dialogue, well, it is still a long way from being a clinical case, because I talk to myself and not another personality inside my mind. Maybe with my own subconscious. However, that is not important. Ich kann jetzt also wählen, ne? Hm. Das erklärt, warum ich jetzt am Ende auch noch so viele Punkte offen habe. Ich könnte jetzt mir irgendjemanden beiwünschen, oder wie? Huh. Nun, so rein aus der Logik her könnte ich ja alle nacheinander abklappern, aber ich finde, das nimmt so den magischen Moment für den Anfang, für das erste Mal, ne? Ich wähle jetzt einfach mal die Route, die mir am meisten zugesagt hat. Ja? Doch, welche war das? Also ich kann ausschließen Uljana, Slavia und Yulya. Ich fand die Mascha-Route sehr interessant. Mit diesem Horrortraum. Auch wenn nichts davon real war, aber man ist ja trotzdem irgendwie noch in einer anderen Realität. Und wisst ihr was? Für mich war die beste Story immer noch die erste, die ich gespielt habe. Einfach nur wegen dem Ersteindruck. Alyssa. I turned over to the other side. The bright sun still shined into my eyes. Good morning. Good morning. Was? Was ist diese? Good morning, I replied. Choice. Did I even have a choice? Every story has its beginning and its end. Every story has its canvas, synopsis, contents, key moments, prologue and epilogue. And there's no book that rereading it will not reveal new details we hadn't noticed before. But every book has a last page, and after turning it over, we put the book on the shelf. Just to open a new one tomorrow. Ja. Na jetzt. A cat is fine too. Oh Mann. That mean. Ach man, jetzt nimmt die mir die ganze Vorfreude. Ich wollte das doch alles selber erkunden. Nein. Alle haben dieselbe Brustgröße. GG. Gut, dann brauche ich die ja gar nicht mehr durchgehen. Jetzt hatten wir die ja gerade alle am Ende im Schnelldurchlauf. Ja, dann ist ja alles geregelt, ne? Gut, das war's dann mit dieser Episode. In der nächsten machen wir das Harem-Ende und das Semyon Bad Ending kommt natürlich auch noch. Hier 38 Hoots per Hour oder per Minute sagt, wir haben noch 2 Achievements zu machen. Das ist einmal Yulya Bad Ending, beziehungsweise Harem Ende. Quatsch, es gibt kein Bad Ending bei Yulya. Harem Ende und das ist ja mir ein Bad Ending. Und ich bin schon sehr gespannt auf das Harem Ende. Einfach nur um zu wissen, wie das dann ausschaut. Gut, dann würde ich sagen, sehen wir uns wieder bei der nächsten Folge. Und bis dann und macht's gut. Und ihr wisst schon, haut mal richtig auf die Kacke.